Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Bill Richards here with Optitex. We're in this video with Sabrina Cove and Josh Scott, part of the Optitex team. This is a new initiative from Optitex, our stand-up question and answer session. So we're asking our customers, users, or general enthusiasts with the Optitex software to send us questions at optitex.usa@efi.com. And we're going to take 5 to 15 minutes every day, go through those questions and post a video for everybody here on LinkedIn. So in our first round, we've had some great questions come in, and Sabrina is going to go ahead and give those to Josh so that we can get into the question and answer session here.
Hi, everyone. So our first question for Josh, what are the differences between AAMA, ASTM, and DXF files and formats?
Thank you, Sabrina, and I want to thank all of our users who are sending in questions. Please continue to do so. This is an excellent topic because it's one of the most fundamental things when you're exchanging data with vendors or anybody else who's using another CAD system. So whether that be Gerber or Lectra or anything, we want to be able to convert information back and forth between systems. Let's take a look at our import options. So I'm going to import CAD/CAM files within our import section of our toolbox. You'll notice that I have DXF, AMA, and ASTM as the first three choices. Now fundamentally, at their core, these are all really the same type of file structure. DXF is a little bit older. It's how you would exchange information with something like AutoCAD. AMA and ASTM are a little bit more geared towards being able to share fabric patterns with a system like Gerber or Lectra. So let's start with AMA. We always want to begin there. We don't want to start with DXF, and I may talk about that in just a second. So we're going to start with AMA, and I'm going to browse. I'm going to take this AMA file. Now just keep in mind, the extension of that file will be DXF. That's okay. It doesn't matter. I'm going to hit open. Okay, and then I'm going to hit OK. Now, if there's a rule file, these are the grading rules that are associated with that file. They will also be in the same place. Hopefully, that's what you're looking for. So I'm going to select the pattern corrections RUL file and hit open. When I do that, what you'll notice is I import a completed AMA and rule file. So I have a pattern and it has grading. Let's take a look at what happens when I import the same file as DXF. I'm going to go to the import section. I'm going to choose DXF, browse the same way I did before to the same file. I'm going to hit OK, and I bring in this file. Now there's a couple things to notice right away. First things first, I have a lot of these drill marks around the outside. This is a telltale sign that you've imported as DXF rather than AMA if that was the file type it was supposed to be. In addition to that, if I want to try and display the grading, there is no grading that's associated with this because DXF is a much more basic version of that family of file types. The last thing you want to look out for in this case is scale. So my scale here looks pretty good. I can see from the ruler at the top of the working area that my scale is approximately correct. But oftentimes when you bring in an AMA file or an ASTM file as a DXF, the scale will be wildly off, hundreds of inches. So you just want to make sure that you check that. And again, as a rule of thumb, import as AMA or ASTM to begin with. Sabrina, let's go to the next question.
Our next question also relates to DXF and is, what are the best practices for exporting DXF files with and without grading included?
Again, it's an excellent question. So let's take a look at this same file that's been cleaned up and is in PDS. You can see if I go to the status bar, I can show the grading. So there is grading on this pattern. Whether or not that gets exported is dependent on two different areas. So let's take a look at both. The first thing I want to look at is the preferences within the system. So we're going to go to Tools, and we're going to go down to Preferences. Now, within the Save folder, you have Save Options. And you want to look at the extension for your grade rule file. This can be a text file, TXT, or a rule file, RUL. It's most common, and it's best to make sure that it's RUL in the file format here. So that's the first place that we're looking. The second place that we want to look is in the export settings themselves. So we're going to go to File, Data Exchange, Export. When you want to export a pattern with rules, it needs to be at AAMA. And this is best, as we discussed in a prior topic, because most systems are really expecting an AAMA or an ASTM file. So let's go AAMA, and I'm going to hit the Setup button. So you can see here there is a checkbox. Build Grade Rules Table, AAMA, and ASTM. If this is checked, an RUL file will be generated as part of the export process. Now you can see here, use visible sizes only. This is grayed out. That's because within PDS you have the option to only export the visible sizes. Now if you want to change that, you're going to go into these settings and you're going to uncheck Create Grade Rule Table. And then you'll notice that the visible size only is checked. So you can uncheck or check that option as you please. From there, everything is very simple. So when I want to export, I say Browse. I go to the area that I want to create that pattern, okay? And then I just hit Save. You can choose cutting and sewing lines both, cutting only, sewing only, but usually we include both, and then you just hit OK. I've already saved it, so that's why it's asking me if it wants to save over. I'm just going to say yes. At this point, you'll be asked whether it's the current selected piece or we want to make sure it's all the pieces in the file. That's best practice. So we're going to hit OK. Now in that folder that I saved it, I have both the DXF file extension and the rule file as well. Now that that's done, Sabrina, what's the next question?
Our next question for today, how can I work with Alvanon avatars in Optitex?
Another great topic. So this is something that Alvanon has introduced in the past year that's been a little bit new for clients, and it's good to go over how you actually use the Alvanon avatars within Optitex. You can see within my window here, I have an Alvanon. This is an Alvanon standard form, but there could be a number of forms across a number of different brands that are available to you. So let's go over to their website and take a look at how this works. Here I am in the Alvanon body platform. So for anybody who does not have access, you should log in and create a user. If you work within a brand, you may already have an account, so you should talk to your brand administrator for this. Once you have access to the Alvanon body platform, you can request or have access to a number of different body types that are available. So in this case, I have all of the Alvanon standard forms, and I can click on Petite Straight. Once this loads, I can go through a number of different avatars and then download them for the software that I'm using, in this case Optitex. So I'm going to click Optitex, and then I'm going to click download. Okay, and that will download the form to my computer. Now there's one other thing you need to keep in mind, is that you need to add your Optitex key, that key number, to your Alvanon account. Okay, once you've done that, and you can obviously contact Alvanon on any questions that you have about that, or you could discuss it with Optitex. Okay, you're going to go here to download permission file. Obviously you'll scroll through the different options of software, and you're going to download your permission file for Optitex. Once you've downloaded the Alvanon permission file, it goes here in this location, and you can see here, Alvanon Optitex APF. That's the permission file. You'll need that in order to be able to work with it. This new way of working with Alvanon forms is because the forms are encrypted. We need to make sure that we have security over who has the forms and who doesn't. And that's why all of these permissions are in place. You're going to download that APF file and save it to this location on your computer, and that's going to enable you to use the form. Once you've done all those steps, you want to launch PDS, and then you'll be able to go ahead, go to Load Model. You'll see we have a variety of obviously file format types. MOD is our standard file, but we also have Alvenon files, AVAO. So you can select that, select the particular model that you're interested, and you're going to open it. If the model opens as any other normal model opens, then you're good to go. You're ready to go ahead and begin working with this and simulating on it. If you do get an error message that says you don't have permission, you should contact Alvenon or Optitex. So I think that does it for today's questions. Bill, back to you.
Great questions, Sabrina and Josh. Great content. Really appreciate you taking the time to put that together and get that out to our customers. Don't forget, folks, we're going to be doing this every day. We're going to be posting these videos here to LinkedIn. So please send your questions to optitext.usa@efi.com. It's the email address that you'll see there on the screen. Again, that's optitext.usa@efi.com. We'll be going through questions every day and posting 5 to 15 minutes worth of content for you to review. Thanks, and be safe.